The New Market Wizards, Jack Schwager. Ask one brilliant trader what matters most, and you get one strong opinion. Ask 16 of them, working in completely different markets with completely different methods, and the answers that overlap are the ones you can actually trust. That overlap is the whole point of this book. Core thesis. Jack Schwager interviewed 16 elite performers across currencies, futures, equities, and options. Some were scalpers and some held positions for months. Some read only charts, while others traded only the fundamentals. Some acted dozens of times a day, and others made a mere handful of major commitments a year. The methods could hardly be more different, and that is exactly what makes the book powerful. When people this different keep saying the same things in their own words, those things stop being opinions and start looking like laws. The deeper message is hopeful. Elite trading is a learnable craft. The wizards were not born with a gift the rest of the world lacks. They found the shared principles, built personal methods that fit their own temperaments, and then lived those principles under pressure for decades. The freedom is in the method. The discipline is in the principles. Wait for the obvious trade. Nearly every wizard describes some version of the same habit. They pass on almost everything. One of them, James Rogers, put it in a line that has followed the book around ever since, saying he simply waits until there is money lying in the corner, and all he has to do is walk over and pick it up. That is the opposite of how struggling traders operate. The retail instinct says more trades mean more profit, so the screen becomes an obligation and every wiggle becomes a candidate. The wizard's behavior says the opposite. The year's returns come from a small number of exceptional opportunities, and the trader's real job is to remain patient, solvent, and emotionally fresh while waiting for them. Every marginal trade taken in the meantime is not just a financial risk. It is a withdrawal from the account of focus and composure that the real opportunity will demand. Risk comes first, always. If the 16 interviews agree loudly on one thing, it is this. Risk control is the foundation, before analysis, before timing, before conviction. The numbers differ from desk to desk. One wizard caps each loss at a tiny fixed slice of capital. Another obsesses over asymmetric payoffs, but the principle never varies. No single trade is ever allowed to matter very much. There is a darker pattern beneath the agreement. Almost every wizard blew up, or nearly blew up, early in their career, and the risk rules they now treat as sacred were carved out of that experience. The traders who did not learn the lesson are not in the book, because the market removed them. Schwager's gift to the reader is the chance to adopt the rule without paying the tuition, and his quiet warning is that most readers will nod along and dismiss it anyway, because the lesson only feels real once it has cost something. Never trade someone else's idea. Schwager opens with a confession of his own. He once shorted the British pound on a respected friend's call, with no analysis of his own behind it, and the trade bled for weeks. The problem was not that the call was bad. The problem was that he had entered on someone else's reasoning, and when the position needed managing, he had nothing. The friend's stop level, time horizon, and exit plan lived in the friend's head, and the friend had moved on. The wizards are unanimous here. Tips, calls, and borrowed convictions are unmanageable, because a position can only be handled by the person who owns its logic. Do your own work, take your own trades, and treat every outside opinion as background noise rather than instruction. Osiris Capital Trading Desk applies this rule, even to the feeds of world-class traders it watches. It never coattails a posted trade. It classifies the trade into a named setup, checks it against that trader's own long track record in exactly that situation. And if the setup sits where even the master has repeatedly bled, it leads with a warning rather than the follow. Make the maths asymmetric. Another point of total convergence is the shape of wins and losses. The wizards engineer their trading so that winners are large and losers are small, and they are almost indifferent to how often they are right. A trader who wins half the time still doubles their money over a run, as long as the average winner is twice the average loser. A trader who is right 6 times out of 10 can still bleed steadily, if the losers run at twice the size of the winners. The machinery for this is structural rather than emotional. Losers are cut at the point where the idea is proven wrong, decided before entry, and never renegotiated. Winners are held through discomfort, trailed behind real structure, and pressed while they keep proving themselves. The retail default is the exact mirror image, small wins taken for relief and large losses nursed in hope, which is why the average account decays even when the analysis is decent. Style is free, principles are not. One of the most liberating findings in the book is how little the wizard's methods have in common. There is no single right way to trade. There is only the fit between a method and the person running it, their temperament, their attention span, their tolerance for holding risk overnight. A great scalper would fail as a position trader, and the reverse is just as true. What never varies are the principles underneath: strict risk, deep patience, independent analysis, structural exits, and honest review appear in every interview, regardless of style. So, the developing trader gets one genuine freedom and one genuine constraint. Build any method that fits who you are, and negotiate nothing about the principles that keep it alive. Intuition and its impostor. Several wizards talk about intuition, the sense that a market is about to move before the reason is fully articulable, and Schwager handles the subject with care. Real intuition is pattern recognition, earned across thousands of hours of screen time. The unconscious application of experience too broad to narrate. It exists, and in the wizards it is real edge. Its impostor is impulse. The surge of certainty a newer trader feels is usually fear of missing out, or the ache to win back a loss, wearing intuition's clothes. The difference is testable. Genuine intuition has a track record, and until a trader's journal proves that their hunches outperform their rules, the hunches are guests, not decision makers. The wizards earn the right to trust their feel. The developing trader earns it the same slow way. Coming back from a big loss, the interviews are unusually honest about disasters, and the recovery pattern the wizards describe is remarkably consistent. After a serious loss, they cut size dramatically or stop entirely. They review the damage in detail until the specific behavioral failures are named. They let the emotional charge drain before re-engaging, and they trade small until composure is demonstrated rather than assumed. Only then does size return to normal. The one thing none of them do is the thing every instinct screams for, which is to trade bigger immediately and win it back. That reflex takes maximum risk at the exact moment judgment is most damaged, and it is how a bad week becomes a destroyed account. Osiris Desk runs the same recovery discipline with you, moving to smaller size and fewer trades after a heavy day, and letting the record show the composure has returned before the size does. The market is a mirror. A theme that surfaces across several interviews is that the market has no intentions toward anyone. It simply reflects the quality of your decisions back at you with perfect accuracy. Undisciplined behavior produces undisciplined results, and any pattern that keeps repeating in your outcomes points at a pattern in you, not at a market that has singled you out. This inverts the retail story, where losses are always bad luck, manipulation, or news. The wizard's framing is harder and far more useful. The market is the constant, the trader is the variable, and the variable is the only thing that can be improved. Osiris Desk holds this mirror steadily, treating a repeating pattern in your record as a fact about your behavior, naming it, costing it, and coaching it, because the pattern that gets seen is the pattern that can be fixed. Love the work or lose to those who do. The final thread through the interviews is the least technical. The wizards love the craft itself. The analysis, the pattern hunting, the endless refinement, all of it engages them independent of the money, and the money arrives as a consequence of that engagement. Every one of them warns against trading purely for wealth, because the money-focused trader cuts corners, forces trades to hurry the outcome, and abandons the work the moment it stops paying quickly. The honest question for any developing trader is whether the daily work, the screen time, the journaling, and the review is genuinely interesting to them. If it is, mastery is a matter of time and discipline. If it is not, the market will eventually hand their money to someone who finds the work fascinating. Bottom line, the new market wizards is the most credible argument ever assembled, that great trading follows learnable principles. 16 traders who share nothing about method turn out to share everything about foundations: risk first, patience, independence, asymmetry, honest review, and love of the craft. Schwager's closing observation is the one to keep. The principles are simple to know and brutally hard to live, and the wizards are not the people who knew them. They are the people who live them under pressure, year after year. Lessons of this kind are rarely new, but a trader who actually carries them into the next session is rare indeed. That is precisely the role Osiris Desk plays for every trader who uses it: an advanced platform for trader development and disciplined trade management, and the flagship of Osiris Capital. It does not let the lesson fade between sessions, because Osiris Desk returns to this very book the way a professional returns to first principles. It holds the wizard's shared principles for you under live pressure: the patience, the risk lines, the independence, and the honest mirror, until living the principles is simply how you trade.